Hey, you did it. You found it. You found the podcast version of the show. It's Writer Radio. Here are the things you need to know. We stream live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time at writerradio.com. 2, you can find every episode on YouTube, youtube.com/@writerradio. We're on Spotify, same name, Writer Radio. We are on Twitter or X @BradWriter, BradRiter. We're on Instagram @Writer Radio. There's a group now, Writer Radio Facebook group. Go there, find that, follow that, like it, whatever you have to do. We've got a phone number. You can send texts, leave voicemail, 716-288-5246. Email, bradwriter@gmail.com. You don't need to memorize this. It can all be found at writerradio.com. That's the hub. But those are the places. Thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Please share. That's how we grow. Glad to have you on board to the podcast version of Writer Radio.
Welcome to the morning meeting, everybody. Right. Or should I say the whenever you decide to show up meeting. All right.
I said the hip, hop, the hippie, the hippie, the hip, hip, hop, and you don't stop the rocket to the bang, bang, boogie, say up, up, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what the hell is to the dish, I'm ripping to the beat. I'm here, the groove, and my friend, you're gonna turn to move your feet. Say I am Wonder Man, and I'd like to say hello.
Hello.
To the left, to the right, the red, and the blue, the purple, and yellow. Bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie, say up, to the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie.
The best thing on the show every day happens right there when the Swedish chef goes, hello. I'd like to say hello. Hello. Sorry, it's 10:26, everybody. I don't have any idea why things weren't working or why they are working. And that's what sucks about being a one-man band, because I'm reliant upon technology to just make this happen. Like, I don't need a radio station. I don't need a team of engineers. I don't need any of that stuff. I can do it myself. Until it doesn't work, then I can't. And, like, what do? Call tech support at the Mixlr app? Like, what am I supposed to do? Every day when the show starts, or before the show starts, at, like, 9:30, 9:40, something like that, I do it. There's a button you hit to do sound check. Make sure that it starts with headphones. Make sure those are working, and then make sure the mic is working. And it's a formality. It's nothing. It's not. I don't do it because I just do it to make sure, And I guess it would have been worse if I just tried to start the show and I couldn't hear or talk and there was no show. I guess that would be worse. But literally the last 48 minutes, something like that. I started at like it's probably 9:35, I would say. So 50 minutes, I've been trying to bring you joy. And I was unable to bring you joy, and I apologize. Because we're on the same team here. We're just trying to have fun. And I have no idea. I restarted. The answer is always, I'm not going to call my dad for tech support, but the answer always, when something isn't working, is turn it off, turn it back on, right? So I turned off and turned back on my little amp, what do we call this? Audio interface device. No good. Computer restarted probably 3 times. Nothing. And then at some point it worked, and I don't feel like I did anything. I didn't change anything. It just worked again. So that part sucks. The reliance on technology is it's tough. And it's not like I can if this is a live event, right? So I'm performing on stage. We're doing this exact same show, but we're on stage at Town Ballroom, okay? Because that's what I picture that at some point, doing like a live thing, inviting you out, having a band, that kind of thing. So let's say we're on stage at Town Ballroom. I haven't talked to Donnie at all about this, but he'll say yes. As long as he doesn't have a band book. Why wouldn't he, right? All right. So if I'm on stage and the speakers aren't working, I can stand at the middle of the stage, you can see me, and I can yell out, hey, I apologize. We're working on some stuff. Technology's not our friend right now. We'll be with you soon. Thanks for coming out. Have a beer. Be sure to tip the bartender. I'm Brad. Like, I could say stuff like that on a stage. When I can't connect the thing through which we talk at all times, like our communication, I can't tell you it's not working because I can't get on. If I could tell you it wasn't working, I could tell you that it's working and we just do a show. So there was a very frustrating. I'm flustered. I'm a little flustered right now because I just wanted to tell you guys I'm trying, man. I'm trying. And then I thought maybe the mic won't work, but I can just play music, and that wouldn't work either. Until it eventually did. So we heard "Nobody Girl" from Ryan Adams. The reason is that song's like 9.5 minutes long. I like it, but I mostly like how long it is. I've used it a couple times at the beginning of the show. Once I do the sound check and it works. And now it's, 9:52. I put on a 10-minute song, and then I jump right in at 10:02 or whatever. Like that. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I have one guest for today, and it's my buddy Matt Parrino from NY Up. Covers the Bills, even though he lives here. He lives in Amherst. I live in Amherst. He lives in Amherst. The Bills play in Orchard Park. He works in Syracuse, but he doesn't go there. I don't think. We'll talk to him. We'll see if he ever goes to Syracuse. Because he works for Syracuse, but from here. That's pretty good. That's pretty modern, pretty hip and cool. We'll talk to Parrino about that. I just wanted a Bills person because it's football season. It's on. There's one more preseason game. I want some analysis of whatever that thing was the other night, that 38-0 loss to the Bears. That doesn't matter at all and has no impact on our lives, but I want to hear a person who's got, boots on the ground. I want somebody like that. So I texted Parrino, and he said he can come on at like 11:20, which I thought was late in the show, but turns out it's not because the show didn't start until 4 minutes ago. So thank you for being patient and sticking with us. Arbo says, better late than never. I knew you'd be on. That's right. I knew I'd be on, too, eventually. But there's no backup plan. Like, I've done radio remotes when I'm, like, working for a radio station and the technology doesn't work. You can still just get on the phone and call the station, and somebody back there will just pot up the phone. And then you're talking, and it sounds like crap, but you're there. You can at least explain yourself. When the broadcast just doesn't work, and you're the only person doing it, and it's from your house, and you're reliant upon technology that I pay for, but it's like, I don't know these people. I don't know the Mixler people. I don't know them. There's nothing I can do. And what would I even say? If I got customer service, what would I say to them? It's not working. What's not working? All of it. Have you tried unplugging? Yeah, I tried all the stuff, all the crap that I tell people to do. It didn't work. So, thanks. And I apologize. I've been doing a really good job lately. Really, really good job. That's a stretch. But I've been doing a thing lately where I will, once I do the sound check is like the precursory thing that you do. It always works. It's always fine. But I do it just to make sure. And then once that's working, then I pull all my songs in. And then I do a thing online where I'll like put it on Twitter and I'll put it on Facebook. Like, hey, friends of Brad, come listen to the show. It's about to start. Come on in. I couldn't do any of that because I was just sitting here sweating all the small stuff that typically works. So I apologize. I'm already at a point where I'm thinking I'm going to not post this show because it sucks. I don't want it to suck. I loved yesterday's show. That one was good. Listen to that one. If I could have just put on yesterday's show instead of today's show, I would have done that, but I couldn't get anything to connect. No audio was working. Nothing was going out over the stream. And I don't know how to do that. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, America and the world. All right. Right now, I'm very lost and flustered. I know that about an hour from now, Parrino's going to come on. That'll be cool. But until then, I don't know what I'm doing here. I've got some stories that I didn't get to from yesterday. It's kind of a clean out the locker sort of day. Like, I want to talk about this Victor Robles thing. You know about Victor Robles? Victor Robles is a Major League Baseball player who is doing like a AAA rehab thing. And it didn't go super well the other night. The freeze frame of the video that I have right now is him with a perfect like pitcher's stance as he's about to hurl a bat at a pitcher. He's playing down for Tacoma, AAA Tacoma. He took offense to the first pitch he saw in the third inning, which is his second at-bat, from Vegas right-hander Joey Estes. Robles swung at an up-and-in offering, and I couldn't tell. It seemed like maybe the ball hit the bat. Might have been a foul ball. Might have caught him in the shoulder. But the ball was way up, way in, and he still swung at it, but he didn't like it. And then he kind of walked behind the catcher, and then his bat fell out of his hand, and then he picked up the bat, and then he hurled it at the pitcher. And then the umpire threw him out immediately because that is not something you're allowed to do. Cannot throw bats at pitchers, ever. But here's the story. The Mariners outfielder Victor Robles was ejected from Sunday's rehab game for AAA Tacoma after throwing his bat at a pitcher who nearly hit him with a pitch. Took offense to the first pitch he saw in the third inning, his second at bat of the game, from Joey Estes. Robles swung at Estes, up and in offering, but was nearly clipped on the right shoulder. He was replaced by Victor Labrada, who struck out. Oh, yeah, he got replaced mid-at-bat. That's weird. Yeah, he got thrown out during an at-bat. That sucks to come in. You're like, yeah, it's 1-1. Really? I don't get 3 strikes? No, you get 2. So that guy got 2 and he struck out. The outfielder rehabbing a dislocated left shoulder he suffered in early April, initially dropped his bat. Then he picked it back up and threw it at the pitcher from home plate. He was promptly ejected by home plate umpire Joe McCarthy. Then he gestured toward Estes, began heading for the mound, and he wasn't really going there. Like, if you want to get 60 feet and 6 inches from where you are, you get there. If you want to put on a show, you pick up a bat, you throw it at a guy, and then you sort of attempt to get at him. And, like, the umpire, you would think if the ump did his job in, like, deterring him from approaching the mound, but he really didn't try. He was like, hey, don't do that. And Robles was like, yeah, okay, fine. And so it was like, hold me back, somebody hold me back. It was that. It was like super fake and super stupid. But he did throw a bat at a AAA pitcher. He did a rehab assignment, and he threw a bat. There will be nothing will come of this. It was just, all right, you can't play here today, Victor. You're out. He had already been hit by a pitch 3 times in 5 rehab games, including twice Tuesday, once by this same pitcher. So he knows what's going on. He didn't like it. Last year in the majors, September 5th, Robles was hit twice against the A's, including once by Estes, same guy. The A's have hit Robles with a pitch 4 times since the start of 2004. After the incident, Robles posted the following on his Instagram story. This is our baseball update for today. I want to take a moment to sincerely apologize for my recent reaction on the field. I let my frustration get the best of me. I understand how that may have affected not just the game, but the energy and respect we all work so hard to maintain. Coming off a long rehab and being away from the game for most of the season has been physically and mentally challenging. Adding to that, the recent passing of my mother has been incredibly hard, and I've been doing my best to hold it together. That's not an excuse, but some context I feel you deserve to understand where I'm coming from. Let's just talk about excuses, because I've heard that before too. When something doesn't go exactly the way you plan, and then people are like, why didn't you do the thing you were going to do? And then you explain why you didn't. Then they call it an excuse as if that's insulting. I think that's kind of garbage. Like him saying that's not an excuse. It is an excuse, but there's nothing wrong with an excuse. Why is excuse like pejorative? Like what's wrong with the word excuse? Tell me what happened. Then you explain what happened. They're like, that's an excuse. Like, yeah, you asked me for that. I've had a problem with that for my whole life. I hate that. Yes, I tried to do it the way that you wanted me to do it. I tried to not throw a bat at the guy. And then you asked me why I threw a bat at the guy, and I'm explaining why I threw a bat at the guy, and then I have to tell you that this is not an excuse. It is an excuse. It's an explanation of what the hell just happened. So in life, let's not give people crap for giving excuses. That's just an excuse. Yes, that's what you asked for. You asked me to explain why it didn't go the way that you thought it was going to go and the way that I thought it was going to go, and I'm telling you my best analysis of why it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. Like, let's put this on the show. The show started today. I tell you, I will do a show at 10 a.m. every day. And at like 9:38, it became apparent that, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough to get the show on the air at 10 o'clock. And had I, instead of just working over and over to reset things and change settings and all that stuff, if instead I had thrown a bat at my neighbor, and then you asked me why I threw a bat at my neighbor, and I was like, I was frustrated because I couldn't get the show on the air, you'd be like, that's just an excuse. Like, well, yeah. But you asked why it didn't go the way that we... Right? Do you agree with me here? Like, the word excuse exists. That's what it's for. It's to explain why things didn't go the way they were supposed to go. And then we're going to criticize the person for giving the answer. It's like, I threw a bat at that guy because they keep hitting me with a baseball and my mom just died. Like, yeah, I get it. I get it, Victor. You're good. He says, getting hit 5 times in 15 at-bats added to that pressure. I reacted in a way I'm not proud of. This game means the world to me. So do the people who play it. I respect every one of you, my teammates, the opposing players, and everyone in this league. I'm committed to being better, not just as a player, but as a teammate and competitor. I appreciate your understanding, and I'm grateful to be back on the field doing what I love. Thank you. That's the end of the story. And I'm going to click that I love that story. Did I like this story? Yes, I did. I'm going to click a little hand clap. There we go. Who's this for? MLB.com. You watch the video, and you can see the frustration. It's not like straight up anger. He throws a bat at a guy in a, are you kidding me kind of way. I'm going to see if there's audio here. I don't know if there is. Seems like no. Oh, no, it's not up. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, here's what happens with Victor Robles.
And the first pitch from Estes. Swung on and fouled off on a pitch that hit him. He picks up the bat and throws it at Estes. He's been tossed. He is yelling at Joey Estes, and now he runs towards the mound. Both dugouts empty, and they're trying to keep cooler heads prevailing. Here come the bullpens, and we've got a little fracas in between the mound and the plate. And the Rainiers coaching staff escorting Robles to the third base visiting side dugout. I don't know the last time, or if ever, that I've seen a batter throw the bat at the pitcher.
And something just got tossed onto the field from the Tacoma dugout.
That's Robles throwing stuff. He threw an entire bucket of sunflower seeds down the third base line. My goodness.
Now things begin to get a bit seedy here. I've not seen anything like this in a very long time in this.
The first story I read about this yesterday, when I planned to talk about this yesterday, it's like he got hit or almost hit. And I still am not totally clear on what happened with the pitch. Pitch is like high and tight. It's at his shoulder/chest, and he swings. And even the announcer says, he's like, swung on and missed, and he's hit with it, and he fouled it off. Like, he says all the things that might have happened. Let's listen to the announcer mangle this.
And the first pitch from Estes. Swung on and fouled off on a pitch that hit him.
Swung on and fouled off on a pitch that hit him. False. Like, you can't be all those things. But I do get where he's coming from. It's not an excuse that I'm making for the guy. But I still don't know what happened. He swung. It maybe hit his arm. It maybe hit the bat. I can't hear it. Hit the bat. So maybe it's foul ball. I don't know what it is. I know that it sucked, though, because the ball came high and tight, and he has had that happen to him 5 out of 15 times since going on this rehab assignment. This is a AAA game between Tacoma and Las Vegas. And he's playing for Tacoma, which is a Mariners farm club. He's on a rehab assignment. Let's try that again.
And the first pitch from Estes. Swung on and fouled off on a pitch that hit him. He picks up the bat and throws it at Estes. He's been tossed. He is yelling at Joey Estes, and now he runs towards the mound. Both dugouts empty, and they're trying to keep cooler heads prevailing.
This is one of those moments where it would be better if we had video, but I'm damn lucky to have audio working today, so let's not overdream here. The umpire, the funniest thing, if we were watching a video, the thing I would break down is the umpire kind of getting in his way when he kind of acts like he's going to run toward the mound, and the ump is like, please don't, and he's like, okay, fine. It all happens in a split second, but it's funny because it's performative. It's fake. It's not real. Like, he's pissed, and he needed to throw the bat at the pitcher because he never gets to throw a ball at a pitcher because the pitcher always throws the ball to him. So he doesn't get to do that, but he is performing an act of defiance. I don't like this. I don't appreciate it. I pick up the bat. I throw the bat at you. He dropped the bat. So he kind of swung. The ball kind of hit him or maybe fouled off, but it was thrown at him. For sure it was thrown at him. But there's no debating that that's what happened. But it's the third inning. They're not going to throw a pitcher out because of memories of the last 4 games where he's been hit 3 times or whatever, or 4 times. They're not doing that. But he's frustrated, so he loses it. I liked his Instagram excuse. I like this guy. It's Victor Robles. It's Writer Radio. It's episode 147, and I apologize for how just out of rhythm the whole thing is. It'll settle in. This is something I was planning on doing anyway. I was maybe going to open the show with this. 2 weeks ago, Scott Wilson was on August 1st. And August 1st, for college football nerd Scott, is kind of Christmas. It's kind of college football Christmas because that is the day that he goes to Barnes & Noble and purchases the Phil Steele college football yearbook that previews everything about everything for every team in America. It's awesome. You want it. If you like college football at all, if you like football at all, if you like the NFL, and then you think, man, college football seems cool, but I don't know what I'm looking at or what's going on. Like, I don't get it. I don't follow it enough. I can't dedicate every Saturday and every Sunday to football. Here's how you catch up. You get the Phil Steele book that came out on August 1st, available on his website, but also he's got a deal with Barnes & Noble. Like, that's the exclusive brick-and-mortar sales place for his book. And I thought about bringing him on, like getting in touch with him and having him on the show. But then I was like, you know what? We talked to him in person. It's me and Scott and Phil hanging out live in the Bahamas, watching a UB practice leading up to the Bahamas Bowl. And that day, the first day that we talked about it, I couldn't find the audio, but I found it, and I have it ready, and that was the plan was to have 2 guests. One Bills-related guest, which is Matt Parrino, 1120, and then to just have Phil Steele. Just press play on Phil Steele. It's like 18 minutes of me and Scott and Phil, and it's great. And that was the plan. So I'm still going to stick with that despite the fact that the show started very late. He's just, I call Scott a football nerd. Let's call football nerdism a spectrum. Scott's in a healthy place. I'm like in the middle. I'm normal. I like college football a lot. I like it more because I hang out with Scott, who just loves it. And then there's Phil Steele, who's a little bit more on the lunatic side, and you'll hear all that. You'll hear him talking about how he can watch multiple games with the audio on and still take all of it in. And he's not kidding. He's not bragging. He's just explaining his affliction. It's great. His book is great. I want you to hear Phil Steele. Instead of, like right now, I need to stop talking for a couple minutes. Instead of playing a song, I'm going to play Phil Steele with me and Scott in early January of this year, talking about his process, what he's doing, the Bulls a little bit. It's very good. It's very interesting. You should buy his book at Barnes & Noble or online. But the Phil Steele College Football, what's the official title? Hold on. Let me get that right before I play the thing. Phil, I don't have this year's book yet. Phil Steele. Phil Steele College Football Preview. Phil Steele's College Football Preview 25 is what you're looking for. It's got 5 players on the front. Who do I recognize? That's Arch Manning, I'm sure. Jeremiah Smith. Looks like Penn State quarterback. A Notre Dame running back or receiver. And a Georgia guy. It's a $20 magazine, but it's 350 full-color pages, stats, trends, angles, returning starters, Phil's forecast, and much, much more. It's the best. If you purchase the hard copy, it comes with the digital version. They have multiple covers. They have the national one, Texas, Midlands, Midwest, East Coast, Southeastern, and West Coast. Let's see, East Coast, does that do anything for us? No Red Murdoch. I was hoping Red Murdoch would make it on the cover. I believe, and I haven't checked with Scott, I believe there's a picture on the inside of Phil's daughter along with the Bulls offensive line. Every year there's a picture of her in there with somebody from college football. And they took a picture with the O-line and her while we were in the Bahamas, and I have not checked. If Scott is listening, text me or something and let me know. Did that picture show up? Because that'd be cool. Either way, though, you want this thing. They call themselves the most accurate magazine over the last 29 years. This guy does this. He's been doing it for a long time. He's a psycho, and he's awesome. And we're going to play that instead of music, instead of listening to, I don't know, Faith No More or Rage Against the Machine. We're going to listen to Phil Steele talking with me and Scott. And this audio clip is labeled Phil Steele Raw. So, you know, he might have gotten raw. Not really. All that means is that's just the recording. It was not edited at all. So this is just me and Scott. And I don't think Paul was involved, but he was there. And everybody was there. All the UB people. Pete Lembo was right there. Paul Peck was right there. John Fuller was right there. But I think what you're going to hear is just me and Phil and Scott talking about college football and his life in this world of putting out this ridiculous magazine / Bible / encyclopedia every single year. Here we go. UB Bulls football podcast. Brad Ryder, Scott Wilson, live on the practice field here in the Bahamas. Day 2 of the trip. Today is Thursday. Game is Saturday. It is Thursday morning. We're out on the field. We have to take a bus trip to get here. We'll tell you all about that. But we get here, and I want to say I'm surprised. We heard about this last night, but we're very excited that one of our college football heroes, as I would say football geeks. Is that all right? I hope, Phil Steele, you're not offended by being called a football geek, football nerd. You are a hero to us. One of my favorite days for the past 20-some years in broadcasting has been when the cardboard box arrives and there are like 5 copies in there and contact information. Book Phil Steele for an interview. This guy is as prepared as anyone in the history of sports, not just football, not just college football, but, man, you have dedicated your life to this sport and your profession to this sport. First of all, let me ask you this. Phil Steele, what are you doing in the Bahamas? I heard you're not even going to the game.
Yes, that is true. It has to do with my daughter. She's 18 now, so she can go to the Bahamas. And I've spent so much of my life just doing football and ignoring doing things.
Yeah.
Where Atlanta said, hey, we'll give you 5 nights free. I'm like, all right, I can tape the games, which I am.
Yeah, of course.
The second I get back, and believe me, the entire month of December, I worked probably 110 hours a week trying to get ready for taking 5 days off because I've never done that before. Wow. But it's her fault. It's my daughter's fault, Savannah, and probably spent too much time not doing things with her. So what the heck?
Well, this is a good one. If you're gonna take the 5 days, this is the place. So I know in the magazine there's a picture with like a wall of televisions.
Yes.
And I always in my head think, God, that looks so cool. Is that real? Or is that a real thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is the cave
I watch
for real?
But I actually have changed. I used to just watch the 12 games all day long, and they're smaller screens. They're not big screens. But
right.
There's only so much room in a room. So what I do is at like 3:30, I go home, and I've got 9 big screens in my home office. So I go from the 12 screens to 9 big screens. And generally at 12 o'clock noon, there's always 12 games going on. But sometimes at 3:30, you might only get 9 or 10 games. So I might miss one game.
Adjust. Okay.
Yeah, I can. But I have 9 big screens in my home office. But believe me, it's what I do the entire day, every Saturday. I watch every single game.
So you're noon to
whenever that stupid Hawaii game.
The Hawaii game at 11:59 kickoff.
Oh my
awesome.
God.
Yeah, that's every time I see it in there, I'm like,
and people say, how can you watch 12 games? But in reality, the plays are only 5-7 seconds.
Yeah, you can skip
so
around.
So really, there's like 3 plays here. And one of my pet peeves, though, in life is all these damn uniform changes they have, because I'm very familiar with uniforms. When you're trying to watch 12 games and process who's playing who at a quick glance, when they've got those stupid uniforms on that don't even look like them, then you're like, it takes me all the way to like mid-first quarter to actually figure out, okay, I've got this game in my head now. That is these 2 teams, which they don't even look like those 2 teams.
I'll say this, and you're the college football guy, but in Buffalo, obviously, we're Bills fans. The Bills played a Thursday, or whatever it was, a game last week against the Patriots. The Bills wore their color rush jerseys, which were red. They wore white helmets. They wore white pants. They looked exactly like the Patriots when I was growing up.
Like
and
Andre
the whole
Tippett
time,
is out there.
Right? And the whole time, like there was a pick in the end zone that briefly I was excited. And oh, no, wait, it was a reverse of that. It was very confusing. And now there's only 32 teams in the NFL. You're trying to follow along with this, and I was watching one game. I didn't know what was going on. So I understand the problem. A lot of things have changed, though, obviously, in college football. How has that been dealing with the changing landscape of football, while also the changing landscape of media? Magazines are not what they used to be. The print publication. What is that fight like for you, Phil?
Well, the beautiful thing is, the magazine is actually quicker, easier reference than the internet.
Absolutely.
So if you want to know the third string left tackle for Western Michigan, you flip to the Western Michigan page, you point right there, and you know where it is. Do that on the internet. How many clicks away are you from finding, first of all, a depth chart and who is where?
Exactly.
You'd be lost going on the internet. If you want to know who the rushing leader was last year for Toledo, or let's say Ohio State, you just flip to the page, point your finger, everything's in the same location of the same page. You know exactly where to look at. So
it's a media guide. I miss hand like paper media guides.
But it's even it's better than 134 media guides, because all the media guides were laid out differently.
Right.
So once again, find the top rushing leader for this team. I don't know what page it's on. You'd be flipping through it. Boom, you just you find the page, you point your finger, you know exactly where the information is. So while a lot of magazines are going down, we're actually the best-selling book or magazine in Barnes & Noble. So it's
where I get mine every year. August 1st, it's on my calendar. It's like a tradition that I have. I try to wait a little bit longer so I don't get too excited for the season. Bang, Barnes & Noble every year.
And the thing about Barnes & Noble, they actually saved my business. It was
really?
Yeah, it was 2020, and I didn't know if there's going to be a football season. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to print. Okay, I am going to print, but I'm going to sell them online. And Barnes & Noble actually contacted me and said, we need your magazine. And I'm like, well, the way the magazine business works, you only get paid for what you sell, right?
Yep.
Well, she said, I will buy the magazines from you. So she took the risk. Ooh. And it was them. So in other words, if there was no football season and they had 0 sales, she would bite the bullet and take it. So I went exclusive Barnes & Noble after that, and very thrilled with it.
Wow, that's really – and you're still there.
Oh,
that's still the deal. You're just,
I love Barnes & Noble.
They saved you.
Yes, they did, and there's Barnes & Nobles everywhere,
right?
And you think that the magazine business, book business, you think they might be good. Barnes & Noble's doing well, and they've closed like a few these stores, but they're opening up more. So it's all good. I love Barnes & Noble.
And I like physical media. I'm old school. I like my CDs still, and I like my vinyl records, and I don't want everything to be a digital file. I don't know where to find it. Exactly. There's so much searching. I want to go to the shelf, and there it is, and that's kind of the service you provide. How on earth, first of all, what is your staff? Is this just a Phil Steele production, or is it?
Oh, heck no.
Yeah, what are we looking at here?
Right now we got about, I would say it's 15 people that are working on the magazine each year, and I have pages. I could show you guys later. I can't show it on this podcast, but the team pages that I have, they're prepared by my conference members. So when I do talk to the head coaches, and we've got every piece of information, every player on the team and all their stats, that's prepared for by my staff. So we have different people that handle different conferences, but I actually do all the writing myself.
Okay.
And I do it in a 3 write-through process. So in December, I've done probably about 65, 70 write-throughs already for the first write-through, which is I read through a stack of reading about this thick, which takes me through every single game that was played in the season. So I can say, okay, this position at the start of the year was in this shape, this happened, and this is where I think for next year. Now, I realize things are going to change. That's why there's a second write-through. It starts in March when the rosters are out and all the freshmen are signed. And then the third write-through is actually after talking to the head coaches. And I talked to 124 of the 134 head coaches. I would say an average of an hour apiece. And I go, Coach, put me in order and tell me a little bit about something about each player. And they take their time, go over the roster, get my guys in the right order. And then after the conversation, now with this doggone transfer portal, I'm like, Coach, if you get somebody between now and June 10th, please text me immediately so I can get them in there. And the coaches are great with that. So it's made the magazine process tougher. We used to go to the press at the end of May. Now we go at the start of June. About June 10th we went this year. But if you look at our magazine, you'll see we've got 98% of the team on the team.
Correct.
There might be one or two JUCOs that slip through. You look at those other magazines, they go to the press in the spring, and they've got players on the wrong team.
There's no
Sean Nolak's playing for Utah State, right?
Yeah.
If
There's no comparison. And I personally, for me, I bring it with me to work every day, and that's just so that if I have time at lunch, I can prepare for the next game. You're always the last thing I look at before the next game, and somehow, like, I know I would be looking for a certain stat, like what a team is coming off a bye, or what happened to this matchup last year or 2 years ago. I don't even have to think about it. I know I can just find the team page because you have already thought of it, and it's amazing, and it's a huge time saver for me. And there is always 2 or 3 times a game where I'm doing the broadcast and something Phil has had in his book is in the broadcast. So I'm a huge nerd. I'm a Phil guy.
Yeah, I grew up buying and reading like the Bill James baseball abstract when I'm 12 years old. That leads to a career in doing this. I'll tell you that right now. So you're my guy. We're simpatico. When did it start for you? When did it become all you were doing? When did it become a full-time business?
See, I was writing a football newsletter, football predictions, and I would compile all this information. And somebody came to my office one day and said, why don't you turn that into a magazine? And this was 1995, so 30 years ago. And
I started in radio in 97, so this explains a lot of our...
That explains it, yeah. And in the early years, what we did is we sent the magazines out to all the radio stations, and basically it got them hooked because you can't find this amount of information anywhere else.
Absolutely.
So once
and this is pre-real internet too. So you're now you're competing with that kind of, like you said, you've got your differentiation. But back then, nobody
we used to call it the fax report. I'd have people fax me their newspapers, and that's how we got the information. But so it was back in 1995 we started, and my basic philosophy is once somebody gets their hands on one, they're going to need it every single year because once you've had that information, you can't get anywhere else. And so the business has grown and grown. I think it took like 5 years to go full color, which was expensive. But, it's one guy started, he said the 1995 version was like I was selling them out of the trunk of my car, which was probably pretty accurate. But, yeah, it's been a long process. And then, the coaches have been the big part, though. I think I went to like a Mac Media Days maybe 20 years ago and met some coaches, and then coaches talk amongst themselves, and I would never print anything. I'm a guy you could tell anything to, and you're not going to see anything on the pages. You know what I mean? Right. And so it's really worked well, and it's 30 years though for this magazine. And I will say this: I do not follow any other sport. Like even the NFL, on Sundays. I go to work, and when I come home, I'm walking in the barn watching college football games. If you ask me who the starting quarterback was for 32 football NFL teams, I'd probably be able to get 15 of them. So it's I'm just one sport, college football.
This is the job. Love it.
No basketball.
So I know that you, from reading your magazine this year, I don't know if you had the Bulls at 8 wins this year. And here we are. So just what is your take on what you've seen from Buffalo and the job that Pete Lembo has done this year, which we're big fans of, obviously. It got us to the Bahamas.
Yeah, if you look at my wrap-up sentence for Buffalo, it says, my computer doesn't really like it, but Coach Lembo is here. And I've always had great respect for Coach Lembo, dating back to Ball State. He was my special teams coach of the year twice. Did a remarkable job at South Carolina. And I was concerned with where I placed Buffalo, but everything said place Buffalo low. Lack of returning starters, transfer portal heavy, which is not always a good thing. Ask Colorado last year, for the first year of the transfer portal. New coach coming in, you got to change the culture, change everything. And you go to the MAC had a lot of veteran teams, like Northern Illinois, for example, was a team with 39 seniors that have been building for a long time. So my computer was saying, hey, it's 4 to 6 wins, possibly. And I picked them low, but I was like, Coach Limbo's there, and sure enough, and that's on my chart. That's how I grade coaches. Is if my expectations say 4 to 6 and they do better consistently. Dave Clawson was one of those guys at Wake Forest. And I get on the phone with him. He's like, "Where'd you pick us this year, Phil?" And I'm like, "Coach, you did it again. You did it again." And Coach Limbo's the same way. He almost overachieves expectations every single year. The year Buffalo had is remarkable, and I got to tell you, if you would have offered me an over/under of 7.5 wins on Buffalo, I might not have a house.
Yeah, I mean he's done a fantastic job here, and we talk all the time of just the feeling, the
night
vibe.
And day.
Oh,
is night and day here.
Well,
with
before
Coach
you had someone that was an assistant running back coach. Now you have a guy that's been a head coach and had success everywhere he's been. And Coach Limbo is just I just can't say enough good things about Coach Limbo.
Honestly, it reminds me, not exactly the same thing, but when the Bulls hired Lance Leipold, we both were like, well, he hasn't been in FBS, but he's done all the things. He's got running a program down. It's much more likely to me that will translate perfectly to FBS than a guy who's never been a head coach. That's a whole, the CEO-ness of it all. And then factor in the portal and all of the things that have changed lately. I kind of just need a guy who's got it all together, and that's kind of where I look. And when we're thinking about the MAC every year, we're mostly thinking about the head coaches. We're thinking about Chuck Martin being there forever. We were thinking about Frank Solich being there forever, for sure, at Ohio. Yeah. And the hope, I think, here is that this can be our guy for a long time.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess my question is, how much do you factor in the coach when putting together your rankings?
Yeah, it's huge. But I will say this. First-year head coaches tend to struggle because of the change they go through. So usually head coaches hit their stride year 3. But there is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. The coach is a major factor. And when I talk to Coach Limbo, sometimes we'll drift off the conversation for a minute or two. I think he's very happy here in Buffalo. So we
hope so.
That was
we want him for quite a long time.
Yes. and you just can't go wrong, I think.
When do you get time off?
It is the summertime is my time off. So once the magazine goes to the press June 10th, between June 10th and let's say August 15th, I maybe do 200-300 radio shows, but that's radio, TV shows. That's not even like work.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah, it's knowledge. It's in my head, and you're just talking. So it's not even work at that point. So definitely my summer. I love my summer, and people always will ask me, and I lie. They say, Phil, football's 3 weeks away. Can you hardly wait? I'm sort of thinking, I sort of could use another week or two prior to getting into the grind of working 102 hours a week like I do during the football season.
What's your biggest miss? What sticks with you? Like, oh, I got that wrong, or I misjudged this team or this coach or this player. You have anything that stands out to you as, oops?
Well, this year, but the good thing is I'm not in the minority. It would be the Big 12.
Because, right. Yeah, that was everybody.
Because everybody missed on the Big 12. I've had people hit me up on Twitter, "Oh, where'd you pick us?" I'm like, I don't even respond. It's like, where did everybody else pick them, all right? And if I had gone completely out of the box and picked Arizona State to win the Big 12, then maybe they wouldn't have, because they would have got all that publicity prior to the season as opposed to laying under the radar.
What's the future hold for Phil Steele, the publication, the whole thing? Are there changes, or have you found a formula and you are locked in and you're doing this until somebody makes you stop?
Well, you have to adapt every year, and the transfer portal's made me adapt in a lot of ways. But as far as the magazine goes, once again, don't mess with the format. The format, you know where to look for every single thing on every single page. So people are like, you need to do more pictures. No, I don't. I just need it to be the way it is. So, and I'm very happy with the magazine. Barnes & Noble's very happy with the magazine. So I'm talking about
I'm very happy with the magazine.
I'm thrilled with the magazine. I was thrilled to find out that you're in the Bahamas with us.
I'm still trying to get my
awesome.
daughter Savannah to take over writing the magazine for me, but she doesn't have
She
that
seem
interest.
interested in that? No?
No.
Not ready for it? All right. Barnes & Noble, obviously. PhilSteele.com.
Yes.
What else? Anything else you want to pub? You got like a Twitter or anything, whatever?
Yeah, Phil, at Phil Steele 042.
Okay.
And then when you go to philsteele.com, there's just a lot of good information up there. You can actually order the magazine now and get the VIP version, which not only gets you the magazine, it gets you access to the internet, or my internet. You also get some my newsletter for 4 weeks. It's got a big deal for it. So get the VIP for philsteele.com and become a VIP.
There is no reason not to do that. Thank you very much for your time, Phil.
Hey,
Appreciate
a lot of
it.
fun. Great meeting you guys.
Great to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com. All right, let's bring it back. There we go. Bring that down. It's that hissing I'm hearing. I don't like it. I think we're okay. In the basement, there's an air conditioner 11 feet from where I'm sitting. But that's not running right now. We're comfortable. Everything's fine. No big deal. Matt Parrino is going to join me about 11:30. It was going to be 11:20. I said, hey, can you come on today? And he said, yeah. And he asked when, and I said, whenever you want, sometime between 10 and noon. I'm glad he didn't choose 10:05 when the show wasn't working. Couldn't get the stupid internet to cooperate. Not even the internet, the software. I don't know what it was. I don't know. It didn't work. Now it works. Everything's fine. So it's a shorter show than normal. But anyway, the plan was Matt Parrino, 11:20, because that's what he said he wanted to do. Who am I to complain if he texts me right as I'm about to call him? I grabbed the phone to call him, and I had a text from a minute earlier saying, can we push to 11:30? So that'll be fun to find out what was so friggin' important for the 10 minutes that he couldn't come out. No, I'm just messing around. But he'll be on at 11:30, and what I said was, because I actually, smartly, I played the music. I took a break when I needed to take a break, and then I was like, oh, I can play, if I play 3 songs and they're the right length of time, I can call him at 11:20 and have him come on, and it'll be perfect. And then at 11:18, when I thought I would call him, he sent a message that said later. So what we'll do is we'll just take the call live. So rather than build the show, like the structure of the show, the timing of the show, around when Matt is going to call in, I'm just going to do my thing. And then when he calls, hopefully I'll notice. Maybe I turn up the volume on the ringer. Ooh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. If I turn up the volume on the ringer, we'll actually... I walk around in life with my phone on silent. So if you ever call me and I don't answer, I didn't even notice that you called. And then I probably won't call you back because I hate calling people back. So I'm tough to reach sometimes. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just don't have time for you. I don't have time for the people that think I have time for them. Ringtone. If I turn up ringtone. All right. So in theory, because the phone is hooked. Oh, no, I got to put the volume on. The phone is hooked up right now. So if Matt, or when Matt calls, I shouldn't say if, he's going to call, I'll actually hear it. So it's set up on a little stand over there. Everything is good. All right. Story that I was reading while listening to Phil Steele, who's awesome. And also I just looked online to figure out where Barnes & Noble is. And I can picture a Barnes & Noble on Transit Road. I live in Amherst. And there was one. I think the sign is still up. But kind of near where... what's over there? Like Tully's is there. Brennan's is no longer open, I think. But like right there, like Brennan's and Tully's and Barnes & Noble and Goodwill and Salsaritas and Northwest Bank. They're all kind of in the same area. Transit Road is confusing in this area. It's like everything's a plaza. So it's like there's Eastern Hills Mall, but then everything... both north and south of Eastern Hills Mall looks like a mall or a strip plaza or whatever. I never, I drive from where I live closest to Sheridan Drive. So if I take Sheridan to Transit trying to go to a store, actually from there I'm pretty good because to the right is Eastern Hills and to the left is the Walmart thing that's called East View or Eastgate or something like that. So I know that stuff. Dick's is in there. BJ's is in there. There's a Dollar Tree. There's a Five Below. Like, that's all together. But if I'm trying to go to, like, Home Depot, I screw that up all the time because Maine and Worley seem like the same thing. This is a me problem. I probably don't even need to share it with you. I struggle with, all right, I'm at Transit. Do I go left or right from here if I'm on Maine or if I'm on Worley? Like, I know kind of where I'm trying to go, but, like, where's the PETA place? I get confused. All right. That's not what I'm planning to talk about. And Matt's going to call soon. Here's what I was reading while listening. Oh, I know what I was talking about. Barnes & Noble. In listening to Phil Steele, I always talk about how great that magazine is and how great that, like, the research he does, and Scott raves about it. It's his football Bible, and Scott is the college football genius amongst my friends. And I know that he is utilizing Phil Steele's book, so I need to have it. I've had it every year for 20-plus years, dating back to, sounds like 1997 or 8. I would guess 98 is probably when I started getting it, but it's the best. You need it. It's just a handbook. It's a crutch. It's find out anything you want to know about the team the Bulls are about to play, or the team that's about to play against Hawaii in the late game. If you're considering a wager or something, like, everything is in there. Everything is there. Who's good, who's not. And yeah, it's printed, so it's not, up to the minute. But how do you possibly track everything up to the minute without losing your mind? This is a handbook that guides you through the college football season. It's a $20 magazine, but it should be a $100 magazine. Like, there's so much there. I wonder how many words are in that thing. It's like 350 pages, tiny print, and just jam-packed with stuff. So after listening to the Phil Steele conversation with me and Scott in the Bahamas, I realized I need that book. The Bulls play next week. Am I going to be the guy in our hotel room that doesn't have the Phil Steele book? No, I'm not. So I was like, all right, I'll go to Barnes & Noble on Transit. I looked up Barnes & Noble. That one's not there anymore. It's gone. So they are doing well. They're fine. They have remained alive, but that one's not there. So there's one on the Boulevard. There's one at Galleria. If it was Transit, I literally was going to end the show noonish and drive over and pick it up. But I have to go to the Boulevard. That's farther. Instead of a 8-minute drive, it's a 16-minute drive or something to get there. 12-minute drive. It's just different. So I don't know that I'm going to do it today. And we have a baseball game tonight. Fall ball. Fall ball starts today. Big game for 12U Black. We don't have team names for the fall. We just get generic shirts with our league logo on them. And that's what we're going to do. I was going to talk about Daniel Jones has been named the starting quarterback over Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis. I did not know where Daniel Jones was, but I do now. The ringing thing's working. Listen, you hear that? That sweet, sweet music is Matt Parrino calling into the show. And so we just hit the button and connect, and there he is. Matt Parrino magically appears on the show. What's up, dude?
What is up, man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am tired.
You're tired?
That's this time of year.
Yeah, well, it should be.
Going on with this kind of stuff. Heading down to the stadium, had a quick turnaround. We'll head down to Tampa Bay this weekend. So it's just just getting after it.
I want to know what was so goddamn important that we had to move from 11:20 to 11:30. What were you up to? I bet it was awesome. But what was the thing that made us push? Because that's not a big deal. Can I move it back 10 minutes? No problem. But why? Why? I want to know what was very important in your life today that led to that change of time.
Well, as a fellow board member of a local Little League, I feel like you can understand.
I already got it. Yeah.
More than anybody, what kind of issues pop up on the day-to-day basis of helping to run said Little League. So just a couple of
baseball
T's
happened.
To cross, I's to dots. Yes.
Baseball happened. I got it. What is your role on the board of the Central Amherst Little League?
I am the travel baseball coordinator.
Ooh.
So this time of year,
sucks.
as I'm sure you can manage. Yeah, it's horrible. You can manage guess this time of year is just, the big thing right now is just like getting all the 8U teams going, like the first year teams, like getting them kind of up and rolling. The tryouts are done. Now they're starting to put together all the plans for the season, and it's a lot. And honestly, like I wish I had more. We're gonna have to put together some type of manual before I'm done with my little league career. I think that's
right,
my goal.
Because you can't quit. That's the problem. I thought I was gonna be done. We had a meeting last night, and it was a meeting leading up to our elections, which are next month. And I spent much of the past year thinking I was done in my role of doing way too much. I'm a vice president of baseball, so I'm doing way too much and dealing with. I like coaching. I like just being a parent and other people coaching. I like dealing with the schedule. I like building rosters. I like running drafts. I like that stuff. But it's the text messages and phone calls every day from just parents, from coach. I don't even mind the ones from coaches mostly, but just individual parents that think, I'm not going to reach out to the coach or to the commissioner of my division. I'm just going to go right to Brad because I have his number. And it's most of my day is spent dealing with that. And I thought I was out, but I can't leave because we've done so many good things. Kyle, who's the president, and me as the vice president, like we've done so much in the last 3 years. I can't not run again, so I'm going to do it again. But that's 2 more years of my life. Like, I don't know, man. I love it, but it's a lot.
You can't leave.
I can't leave.
You can't leave.
I need
your
to leave
youngest is only is he going to 9U?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you got plenty of years left, buddy. Just get comfortable.
It sucks. All right. How are you, Matt Parrino? And how I don't know, what's your takeaway from 38-0 the other day? I mean, obviously, it was 2 different teams with 2 different goals for the preseason, for the season, really. One is trying to win a big game in February, and one is trying to make people like them again and justify the pick of the quarterback. So they put out their ones, and they looked the way that they were described about a year ago when people were really hyped on the Bears, and it didn't totally work out, but I think they did a nice job of selling what's going on by beating the crap out of people in Bills uniforms. It wasn't the Bills, but it was people in Bills uniforms, so I think they accomplished their goal. The Bills were trying to stay healthy more than anything else, but they were still kind of, Sean McDermott after the game, rightfully so, was kind of disgusted by it. It was meant to be 3 hours of entertaining television, and it was not for anyone in Western New York. So that part sucked. I was ready, like going in, like, this isn't the real team, but let's see some cool stuff. And I saw no cool stuff. So I don't know. What's your takeaway as a guy who's in it, who's there every day?
So I think the first thing, like thinking back to like pregame, as like the entire starting lineup was kind of just out there like they were at a cookout, like on the sideline, like just hanging out and telling stories and laughing, and like the vibes around going into a game where an NFL team was going to be playing its starters for at least the first quarter was not the kind of environment that I think needed to be there to be competitive. And they were super competitive on Friday, like when the starters were out there. I thought that they got the better of the Bears. So that's like the other kind of caveat to all of this that like on the national conversation doesn't really happen. Not to defend the Bills, but there's like circumstances around why it looked the way that they did. I think the bigger problem is like the guys that they had out there that were like auditioning for whether it be roles on the team or roster spots or starting spots, everybody kind of underwhelmed, and none more than Cole Bishop, who we're to the point now with this whole storyline where it's a problem because he's going to be the starter. Like they invested the 2nd round draft pick in him. They didn't do anything at the position of note in the offseason outside of a journeyman and then bringing back DeMar Hamlin. Like they did everything they could to insulate Cole Bishop from competition, which actually flies in the face of what they usually try to do. So he's going to be the starter. It's just maybe he starts and maybe it goes okay, but can you trust the guy to stay on the field for any length of time? That to me is the biggest issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I haven't met him yet. Like he's been here and we've all said his name a lot, and I want to like him and I want him to be a part of this, but I don't know anything yet. And what's tough is I can't really assess Cole Bishop when he's out there with 10 guys who, 3 of those 10 are going to make the team. You know,
Right.
that's not the Bills. Like Cole Bishop, while hanging out with the actual Bills, might look different, but I don't know because he's been banged up, and we haven't. The same story last year with him, where he hurt in training camp and never quite got up to speed, and now we're at the second week of preseason, and he's not quite up to speed, but he's out there playing with the guys. I don't know. I guess. What do you see in him? You watch practices. Do we like him? No, we don't.
That's kind of a loaded question.
Well, sort
There's
of.
a couple things I don't like. There's a couple things I don't like. Like when we were and this is a slippery slope because on one hand, I do like how much the modern NFL and the modern sports world really pays attention to mental health and like everything that a player goes through that like 15, 20 years ago, you wouldn't be able to talk about, right? Or you should probably be ridiculed in the locker room or something like that. And
right. Shut up and play.
One of the things that came out about Bishop this training camp was Sean talking about, or maybe it was Bobby, I can't remember which one, it was Bobby Babich, talking about like his dealing with the expectations that come with being a second round pick. And it's like, I don't know, we're in year 2 for a young player who there's so much excitement about. And like, that's the big thing that we're talking about other than the injuries.
Yeah.
And it's like, you almost want them to come in for better or for worse, for production's sake or not production's sake. Like Keon Coleman thinks he's that dude. Like he goes out on the practice field every single day, expecting to win, expecting to beat guys. Like, I think that's the kind of confidence level and the unshakable confidence level. Like he's dealt with so much ridicule this offseason. Like every graph that gets passed around on social media when it comes to like separation numbers and advanced analytics, like those guys just absolutely bust on Keon Coleman. And he's kind of barely batted an eye at any of it. He goes out there and he's had about as good of a summer as anybody on the Bills roster. And it's like, I wonder if there's a level of confidence in Cole Bishop to be able to assume a very important role in this defense, a starting role, and then be productive over the course of a long season, an important season for the Bills. And I haven't seen that to this point, and maybe we will see it once he finally gets a chance to play 2 or 3 games in a row without incident. But I have some reservations.
All right, that's fair. You're there every day, and you are almost saying the same thing I am, which is, I don't know him yet. I don't know. I'm not positive that this is right. Is Damara a starter? Like, what do you do? I don't know what you do. Like, you got to try it. You got to see how it goes. You got to keep him healthy. You got to put him on the field. You got to see if it works. And, you know, he gets this year. Like, he's not in danger of being cut. You said he's the starter. So he's not in danger of not making the team. But it's just, I watched that first touchdown the other night. It's like, come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Because, I'm rooting for Andreessen like the rest of us. And he's kind of out of his, he's kind of beat. And it's like if Bishop takes a decent angle, it's a 14-yard gain as opposed to a touchdown. And Bishop takes a terrible angle and gets smoked. And now I'm like, oh, I'm rooting for you, and I'm rooting for you, and you guys are dead in the water here. And I don't know. It's rough. It's tough. It's tough to deal with, but it'll be fine. All right. What's the next thing? James Cook signing. That all just makes sense, right? It was all as peaceful a holdout as you can possibly have. And it all made sense, and it all fit together, and he's back, and he's happy, and the Bills are happy, and they didn't really overpay, and it's fine, right?
That's the big thing. It's like the final contract numbers is not an overpay. It's about in line with what I thought everybody agreed would be the palpable number for him. I mean, it essentially is a 3-year, $30 million contract.
Fine.
When you really dial into the details, which is fine. He's the most important player in an offense that was number 2 in the league last year in total offense and scoring offense and all those kinds of big time numbers that Brandon Beane has liked to talk about quite a bit over the last couple of months.
Yep.
And so I think getting him under contract and maybe dissolving this, I know it wasn't a distraction according to the Bills, but it was something that was looming over a player that whether you talk to Brandon, Sean, Josh Allen, Ray Davis, the stuff that people say about James Cook are the kind of things that make you want to pay guys, right? Like all the things about Stephon Diggs and like the cloud that kind of lived over the organization for the last year and a half of his tenure, starting with the sideline antics and all that kind of stuff. James Cook is like the opposite of that. Like, he's a guy in the locker room that's a leader. He produces in big moments. Like, he, outside of Josh Allen offensively, he was that dude in the AFC title game last year. They didn't lose that game because of him. If anything, they were probably in it because of him, and he wasn't on the field late in the game, which I still think the Bills probably would change if they can redo it. So having him in the mix, he's not like your typical 25-year-old running back either. He doesn't have a lot of tread on the tires. He didn't play a ton in college. His first year in the league was splitting with Devin Singletary. Didn't play a ton then. So he's got a lot of mileage left. And I think this is another really good deal for Bean, who, like, for better, for worse, I know a lot of people are frustrated with some of the draft misses. He does have a tendency, when he does lock guys up for long term, to get them at a bargain. I mean, going back to like Matt Milano, all the extensions this offseason, Spencer Brown getting in on him when they did. If they would have waited till this offseason, Spencer Brown would have probably been getting $4 or $5 million more per season based on the season that he had a year ago.
As a left tackle for somebody, probably too, you know?
Right, exactly. So I like everything about how the Cook thing unfolded.
All right, yeah, me too. All right, another player that kind of falls into this, hey, what's going on here category. Do you know where I'm going yet? I'll give you a hint. He's a tight end, and we've talked about him a lot. What is Dalton Kincaid a player that I should think about ever, or should I just disregard him? Because even when they drafted him, I was like, I don't know, seems like maybe a slightly more athletic Dawson Knox, and they were fine with Knox. It's not... to me, a tremendous upgrade, and so far it has not been at all an upgrade. And when you brought up the Kansas City game, and that's what I thought of as him not catching the ball. And I'm not saying he needs to catch the ball, but I would like him to catch the ball as a first-round pick, as this, exceptional addition in theory to the offensive package that they're giving to Josh Allen to go win the Super Bowl. Is Dalton Kincaid a part of their future success? Because at this point, I feel like I should have seen something from him that makes me think he was worth a draft pick, and so far I don't. I don't dislike him. I still think it might be coming, but I'm not there every day, so I'm asking you, what's up with Dalton Kincaid?
So I want to see for, 14 of the 17 games. First of all, Kincaid staying healthy, I think, is number one priority. But also, do you remember the Lions game? I don't remember his final stat line, but there was a play in that game where he was in coverage and Allen put a nice ball out there, but it was a contested catch. He goes up, he makes the grab, gets blasted by both guys, and gets up and kind of points at one and points at two, and then does the first down signal. I'm like, wait a second. That is a level of swagger that I didn't know existed in this, to your point, player that we don't know a lot about.
Yeah.
And I think there's more in there that needs to get figured out here. And I think that Josh Allen is like the number one card carrying member of the Dalton Kincaid fan club. And he is like put it upon himself to really lift this guy into being, whether it's not the number one weapon, one of the big time weapons in this offense. So I think he could be good. He just has to do it more consistently, because the good moments have been really good. It's just like you're always clamoring for more of them. He's never had like a dominant game, right? Like, I think that's going to be the barometer for me, the measuring stick. Like, can we have a game in the first four where Kincaid takes over, has 14 targets, 10 catches,
112 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? Yes, exactly. That game you're talking about, he was targeted 7 times. It was him and Shakir were the by far top targets. Ty Johnson had 5. Actually, that was the Ty Johnson game. 5 catches, 114. I forgot about that. That was awesome. But he was targeted 7 times. He caught 4 for 53, including a 29-yarder. So take that 29 out. Now we're at 3 for 14. And that's kind of what I picture most of his career so far. I'm sure there's. You're right. There's something in there, I think. But I need to see it at some point. I don't know. It's just kind of. I don't want to say he's a miss, because, he was banged up. But when I think of Kincaid, what's the defining play of Kincaid's career? And I guess number 2 would be the one in the Lions game where he's pointing at people. But number 1 is the one where he just doesn't get to the ball. And I just want that to happen. So, all right. And Knox is fine. Like, Knox can stick around. I bet he plays here his entire career and then retires and sells cars at West Her or whatever he's going to end up doing. He's cool. What's the Shakir situation? Because they don't have a superstar at wideout. I want Keon to be, better, and I think he will be. I believe in him to be a big part of the offense, but he's not like a number one. This guy is you're gonna win the game because you have Keon Coleman. He can make plays for you. Shakir, when he's in the mix, makes the wide receiver group look good, and when he's not in the mix, suddenly you start shifting things around. You're like, what do we got here? So what's his health status? Can we expect to see him back in like at full speed, because that matters a lot to me?
Yeah, thank you. He's just he's hanging out, right? Like he's going to be ready for week 1.
Okay.
And I think that to me was the most important thing. Put him on ice. Put any of these guys that are hurt on ice.
Absolutely.
Or don't even play them. Like I thought that was actually some evolution from Sean McDermott to see that, because I think it probably hurt him to not play a lot of his starters, because he wants to get looks. He wants them to be ready to go, a la what's going on in Cincinnati when Joe Burrow almost got destroyed the other night because they're trying to start fast. I like that. But like in terms of Shakir and what he's going to be, I set it and forget it. Like when he's on the field, I have no concerns. I have no problems. Like as long as he's healthy. And I think the fact that he was coming, he got out of the boot as quick as he did. Everything that I saw and read, and a lot of it is like internet doctors. So I guess I don't want to take that to too far of a level, but I think that those high ankle sprains, and I wouldn't have been surprised if he was in the boot for longer, if it was a little bit more of a severe case. But we won't really get a chance to talk to him until probably that practice week ahead of the Ravens. But he's on track as of now.
Okay, good. Is Curtis Samuel going to be on this team?
Oof, man, that is a great question. I think that he's probably worried this morning, reading reports that Gabriel Davis is coming into town.
Ooh, I didn't read that. Really?
To do a visit.
Oh, I love
Bills.
Gabe. I love Gabe so much. Do you love Gabe?
Here's the thing.
I love Gabe. You don't? Okay, nobody does.
So I wouldn't say
nobody does
Gabe.
except me. It's me and Josh that like Gabe. Go ahead.
Okay, and he is – no, that's okay. I was always super high on Gabe, and I think that as wide receiver 4 or 5 – like that is a luxury to have a player like that in that role. The problem is he's coming off of a torn meniscus. If you remember the last year that he was here, he was playing hurt for like half of the season. So like his body's breaking down. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to bring him in, but at the same time, you have Curtis Samuel, who you gave all this money to, who can't stay healthy either. So I guess it's maybe like, let's cobble this thing together is the thought process. And if Samuel can't get in the field, maybe Davis can. And then when Davis gets hurt, maybe Samuel will be ready to come back. I don't know what the plan is, but it's going to be tough to move on from Samuel only because of the dead cap money unless you trade him. And I don't know any team that's willing to, take on that contract.
What about Elijah Moore? Is he a factor in this? Is he – it seems like I appreciate that they brought in the names that they brought in, but none of it seems to be taking. So like adding Gabe to the mix, 2 months ago, we said there's not really room for him. There are too many players for not enough spots, but nothing's really bubbling up to the top. So now I'm super interested in the Gabe thing. But what happens with Moore? Moore, I don't know, man. He's kind of just been a disappointment his whole career, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it's tough to really evaluate him a ton because when he has played with Josh Allen this summer, he's looked the part. He hasn't gotten a lot of those opportunities. And also when Shakir gets back, the thing that's tough about Moore is he's not going to play a lot in the slot. Like right. When he's on the field, they're going to move him out wide a little bit more, which he has not been doing since Shakir got hurt. So I think that's a little bit of funky part of the evaluation. And then I don't know. I think you just throw out that entire Bears tape for the most part because there was nothing from that game outside of maybe Jordan Hancock, which that's an interesting one. Like depending on the severity of that injury, could he be somebody that Christian Benford's it and somehow in his rookie season makes enough plays in the summer that he puts the pressure on Cole Bishop. I know Bishop's a second-year player, not a rookie like Kyer Elam, but that's happened here before when they've hit on a day 3 pick. So that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for me.
Okay, that's fun. What is on your mind heading into the final preseason game as they're tuning up and getting ready? Like, what are you thinking about? What are you looking for? Like, what's storyline number one to Matt Parrino right now?
It continues to be Bishop. I want to see Trubisky start, and I could see them doing something wild, like going with Shane Buechele, who I will tell you is not very good, which then completely takes away from your opportunity to truly evaluate the players that are out that you need to look at, like Tyrell Shavers. Like, you can't put Josh Allen out there. I get it, but maybe go Trubisky, so at least we can kind of see. They showed a little bit of connection in the week one against the Giants. Maybe see if you can build on that to get a real good look at Shavers. The problem is, though, I would imagine the Bucs are not going to be playing anybody on their end. So again, that also bakes into the eval. So I think it's about staying healthy. I wouldn't expect to see very many starters, but is Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore playing for a roster spot
Against each other, maybe, yeah.
Davis? Yeah, that to me is those two things, like what's going on at safety, what's going on at depth wide receiver. Those are the most interesting pieces.
All right, I like it. Matt Parrino, we'll talk to you soon. Love having you on. Great to talk to you and get a little insight, and we will talk soon. Thanks, dude.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, Matt Parrino is NY Up. He Syracuse.com. All of that works. That's our boy, and we thank him for checking in. And that I need that. I need boots on the ground at camp, at practice, and I don't have an official beat reporter, so I'll bounce around. We'll get Matt on. We'll get Chris Trapasso on sometimes. We'll get Skursky again for sure. We're going to bounce around because I want to talk about the Bills, and I don't have answers. People ask me as if I'm there all the time. They have a history of being around the Bills, but I'm not around the Bills the way that I used to be. I'm around the UB Bulls, or I will be soon. I've only been out to a couple practices, so I'm not like fully versed in that. I need other people to come on and be the experts while I'm just the guy who asks questions. And Matt Parrino fills that role exceptionally well. And I like it. So we got a lot of good insight on the things that are in my head about what's going on with this team. All right, quick timeout, and then we'll be back to wrap things up. It is Writer Radio. It is episode 147. Thanks again to Matt Parrino, and we're going to play Billy Joel because I want to. This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com. I was going to play one more song, but it's 11:57 already, and I started playing with ChatGPT again. I don't know why I'm obsessed with asking ChatGPT to write movies about Paul Peck, but here's what I typed in while River of Dreams was playing. I typed in 2 days before the season opener against Baltimore, 50-plus-year-old Paul Peck signs a contract with the Buffalo Bills to become their long snapper despite having never done it before. He's a college football broadcaster. Please give me a synopsis, tagline, and title for a movie about this. And ChatGPT said, here's a fun take on it, like a sports comedy meets underdog story. The movie title is Snap Judgment. This is the dumbest and best thing that's ever happened, is putting Paul Peck into movies and letting a computer think about it. All right, the movie title is Snap Judgment. It says 2 days before their season opener against Baltimore, the Buffalo Bills find themselves in crisis without a long snapper. Out of sheer desperation and a PR stunt gone wrong, they signed Paul Peck, a 50-something college football broadcaster with zero playing experience but a lifetime of love for the game. What starts as a joke becomes a whirlwind of training montages, awkward locker room moments, and a city daring to believe in the impossible. With his quirky charm, encyclopedic football knowledge, and just enough stubbornness, Paul has to prove that sometimes heart, humor, and hustle can outweigh talent and youth. But can he deliver the perfect snap when it matters most? The tagline for the movie is, he's called 1,000 games, but never played in one. Until now. Then it asked me, so that's what it gave me. Pretty great. Then it said, want me to lean this more toward Hallmark-style, heartwarming underdog or outrageous comedy? And I said, Hallmark version. So now the movie title is called A Shot at Sunday. Synopsis. Paul Peck has spent his career behind the microphone, calling college football games with passion and precision. But when the Buffalo Bills suddenly lose their long snapper just days before the season opener against Baltimore, fate calls an unlikely name, his. At 50 years old, he's a little older, Paul has never played a down of professional football, but with the support of his family, his hometown, and a spirited assistant coach who believes in second chances, he takes a leap of faith onto the field. Along the way, Paul rediscovers the joy of chasing a dream, reminds everyone that it's never too late to try, and maybe even finds love in the most unexpected place, right on the sidelines. I did not tell it to do that, but it did. The tagline for A Shot at Sunday is, "It's never too late to follow your heart or snap into your destiny." Then it asked me, do you want me to add a romantic subplot? Maybe with a team staffer or reporter or someone from his past? And I said, add romantic subplot with owner Terry Pagula. And ChatGPT replied, got it. Here's the Hallmark-style rewrite with a romantic subplot involving Terry Pagula, done in that sweet, corny Hallmark tone. This movie now, so the first one was Snap Judgment. This one's called, the second one was called A Shot at Sunday. The final one, and this is how we're going to end the show. This is what I'm doing now. The movie is called Love at First Snap. That sucks. All right, so here's the synopsis. Paul Peck has always loved football, but only from the booth. At 50, he settled into life as a beloved college broadcaster, convinced his dreams of being on the field are long behind him. That all changes when the Buffalo Bills lose their long snapper just days before the season opener. In a wild twist of fate, Paul is signed to fill the spot, and suddenly he's living every fan's fantasy. But stepping onto the turf isn't the only surprise waiting for him. As Paul navigates the challenges of proving himself to the team and the city, he finds unexpected encouragement from team owner Terry Pagula, who sees more in Paul than just an underdog story. What begins as mutual admiration grows into something deeper, forcing Paul to face the biggest question of all. Is it possible to find love and a new beginning when you least expect it? The tagline is, he came for the game, but found the love of his life. And then it asked, want me to play this totally straight Hallmark sincere, like The Rookie meets a holiday romance, or give it a wink and nudge campy edge, because let's be honest, Paul and Terry as a Hallmark couple is already delightfully over the top. That's what this thing is thinking about right now. Totally straight, Hallmark sincere, wink and nudge. No, totally straight. I mean, not totally straight, because it's Paul and Terry Pagula, but you know what I mean. Totally straight. I'm going to say please and be nice. All right, let's see what happens. All right, here's a totally straight Hallmark-style version. We're back at Love at First Snap. It's the same exact thing. No, it's not. No, it's not. All right, I'm going to read this one, then I'm going to stop. Oh, man. How do you end the conversation with artificial intelligence when it keeps asking amazing questions? Like, I'm going to read this to you, but here's the question at the bottom. I want to stop talking, but I can't because it says, do you want me to also set this in a holiday backdrop, like a Christmas opener for extra Hallmark vibes, or keep it as a fall football romance? I'm going to switch to, Christmas. All right. Oh, now it's called a Christmas Snap. All right. Title changed. I'm going to skip the other one. This Christmas, he's snapping into the game of life and the love he never saw coming. Would you like me to write this up in the style of an official Hallmark Channel movie listing with that breezy marketing blurb so it reads exactly like it's there? Yes, please. Yes. Blurb. Here's the Hallmark Channel style holiday lineup blurb. Paul Peck, played by your favorite Hallmark leading man. Oh, this is premieres Saturday, December 14th at 8/7 Central on Hallmark. Okay. Paul Peck, played by your favorite Hallmark leading man, has spent his career calling football games, not playing in them, but when the Bills lose their long snapper just 2 days before Christmas and just before their season opener against Baltimore, Paul is unexpectedly called to the field, thrust into snowy practices and game day pressure. It's not snowy and whatever. It's fine. It's the season opener. Like, you're screwing up here, AI. Paul must prove it's never too late to chase a dream. Along the way, he finds surprising encouragement from team owner Terry Pagula, played by a Hallmark favorite, whose quiet strength and holiday spirit warm Paul's heart. Under the glow of Christmas lights in Orchard Park, they discover that the greatest gifts of all are love, faith, and second chances. That's Christmas Snap. It premieres December 14th, Saturday, December 14th at 8. It asked me, do I want to mock up the cast list the way Hallmark does with familiar Hallmark actors slotted into Paul and Terry's roles? Yes. Yes, I do. Perfect. All right. Let's see who's in it. I don't know any of these people. I'm not going to read this. This Christmas, he's playing for love, family, and the game of his life. Andrew Walker as Paul Peck. I don't know who that is. Cameron Matheson as Terry Pagula. Nikki Deloche as Maggie, Paul's supportive best friend and confidant who keeps him grounded through every dropped snap. Tyler Hines plays Coach Dan, the spirited assistant coach determined to whip Paul into shape before the big game. And Barbara Niven is Mary Peck, Paul's caring mom, reminding him that Christmas is about family, faith, and following your heart. The plot summary is similar. And then the new tagline, is this new or the same? It's a new one. This Christmas, he's playing for love, family, and the game of his life. I'm going to stop. Why am I doing this? All right. It's Writer Radio, episode 147. And thanks to Matt Parrino, thanks to Phil Steele. Scott Wilson was a part of it. Unintentionally. We recorded that in January, but that was part of it. And I'm going to play a song, and then I'm going to be done. And I'll be back with you tomorrow. Bob Gaughan is our grinder, and he'll be with us tomorrow. You remember Bob? Bob's good. This is Bob.
The way my kids date now, it's so simple. They go on an app, whether it's Grindr or whatever, they swipe right, swipe left, and they get the date automatically.
You'll hear that at least twice tomorrow because I play it before he comes on and after he leaves. And now that I have the right chord, he can hear it when it happens. So he knows we're laughing at him, and he's totally fine with it. That's our friend Bob. He's the best. All right. Thanks for listening. I'm Brad. Writer Radio, episode 147, will be available in podcast form within the next hour or so. And thank you for listening, joining us. Thanks to Matt and Phil Steele and Scott Wilson. Bye. This portion of Writer Radio has been deleted for the podcast version. If you want to hear everything that happens, listen live weekdays 10 to noon at writerradio.com.
What are you doing for lunch? I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich. We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place. I don't know. Okay. We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?